We are here in Camden, South Carolina, which is only about 45 minutes from our house. We've been here before for COVID tests at their Walgreens when ours didn't have any. And we are here to explore some Revolutionary War history. And they're gonna pet a statue of a dog, apparently.
There's a smaller one up there, guys.
Oh, a smaller one.
Up by the bench.
So this building looks like is pretty new. Christian, you want to get your picture as a soldier? Okay. Daddy, you want to be a militiaman? Alright. He's got lots of streets named after him.
Yeah.
They combine
One
the...
is by land, two don't touch, please, Christian. There's a statue of General de Gaulle.
Mm-hmm.
All right, hold on a second. All right. No. Look at it. Flint and steel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hear the click? Okay. I know some of you heard the presentation, some didn't. We're going to go through the crew positions real quick and then we're going to load the fire. So typically there were two soldiers to the front. They were called Montroses. In the American Army, they would have been probably infantry guys that are apprentices to the crew, because we didn't have a lot of trained crew members in the American Army like the British did. So, and you notice he's wearing a white rim on his hat. That means he's infantry. I'm yellow. That means I'm artillery. So the Montrose one here, his job is to search the piece. He holds a tined worm that goes into the cannon barrel. And what he's searching for is remnants of the cotton bag that was in there. And there's examples of the artillery shells inside, because we don't want that any burning embers in there when we put the next round down. He searches it, pulls it out. Next command is vent. I need to make sure that I take this thumb stall, I put it over the little hole here, and create a vacuum. So what he's going to do is push that down and pull it out, turn it, pull it out. If you heard the pop, that's a vacuum. He's putting a damp sponge down there, not wet. I don't want to put a lot of water in there because the ammunition, the powder's in a cotton bag. He's going to turn it, and then when he pulls it out, because I'm venting, he's going to create a vacuum, hoping to draw out anything else. The next command is carry the charge. Back here would be a powder monkey. Could be another soldier, could be the son or daughter of one of the crew members. They've got the ammunition box, they have the ability to get back to the caisson. When the round is called forth, either the grape shot or canister, he would bring that person would bring that round up. He's going to place it into the barrel. Next position is the next Montrose. He's got the rammer. So he'll be standing here when he's hauled up for it, and he's going to push it in, and he's going to hit it hard. The gun is now loaded, but it's not primed. Back here are the two gunners. Next thing I have to do, these are the two gunners. Gunner 2 and Gunner 1. Gunner 1 is the smartest guy in the crew because he can do math. He's also responsible because these guns would be operated in pairs. His job is to make sure it's aimed properly. But for those who weren't in the presentation, these are direct fire weapons. We don't aim them over anybody. We don't fire high angle. We have to see what we shoot. This gun has a range of about 1,000 yards. It's a 3-pounder. A 6-pounder weighs about 3,000 pounds, and it only has a 400-yard added range, even though it's firing a half-pound charge. He fires a pound, I fire a half a pound. The beauty for those who missed it inside is these cannonballs on the battlefield in the 18th century is worthless. On the battlefield. If I'm going to attack a city or a town or a building or a fort, yeah, I'll use this. In the battlefield of South Carolina, how far do you think you could see through these woods? If you weren't in Camden where they had pulled everything off, range is real close. 300 yards, 200 yards, I'm going after you with these 1-inch steel balls, canister. When I get to 100 yards, which is where muskets start taking a little bit of effect, I'm going after you with this can. And in this can are going to be 50 to 60 cannonballs. Nails, rocks, pieces of chain. This is a shotgun on the battlefield. If you don't see that in the movies, you sometimes do. Okay, so this gunner now, he's going to pick and prime, which means he's going to take this pick, he's going to push it into the powder bag. Straight down, he's going to take the quill. This is a straw, but in real time, in the 18th century, we used the bottom end of a duck goose quill. And it was stuffed with glue and black powder. Same thing we did here. It's going to be inserted. The gun is now live.
Might be loud.
Okay. I'm going to give 2 commands. I'm going to say, make ready. Very good. That's you need to
Cover your ears. It's going to be loud, Isabella. Cover your ears.
Okay, let's try it out.
Ears, please.
Make ready.
Because it's going to be loud.
All right. Gunner, you ready? Ready, sir. Make ready. Fire!
Told you.
Load the charge. Fall out. All right. Ram the charge. Push. Good. Pick and prod. Doesn't have to go in as long as you go for that thing. Okay, good. Here we go. Make ready. Fire!
So, on July 4th, the other day, 1776, the Second Continental Congress declared its independence from Great Britain, established the 13 United States of America. The Declaration of Independence set out the reasons why Congress voted to break away from Great Britain. It's divided into 4 main parts. The preamble, which we had to memorize in school, a Declaration of Rights, list of grievances, and Declaration of Freedom.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
Thank you, Hamilton.
Canon that you saw up there, and then they could also switch them into these other smaller ones.
see if we can find all these things. Can you find a tri-corner hat? Can you find a hat with 3 corners? In the picture, Isabella. In this picture. Find a hat with 3 corners on it. Okay. How about a saber? Can you find a sword? Look near the top of the painting. There's a saber. How about a flag? Can you find a flag? Can you find a drum? How about a bayonet? It's a blade on the end of a gun. Well, that's the musket, and then the blade's on the end. The bayonet's on the end. Americans were supposed to get way less food than the British and still didn't even get that much. How are you gonna eat it then? Oh, so you're just gonna use it for eggs?
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hey. This is the hardware store in the 1700s.
You can beat that because you're younger, but I really want to see anybody. Blacksmith is starting to make these large spikes. These are made for a specific door. When you get over to the big house, the Kershaw house, look to your left and you'll see earthworks with spikes sticking out, and that's called a redoubt. In the middle of it is a strong wound, and it's very strong. It was sort of your last resort. You got in there and you had some shooting holes to shoot out of. The door, the wood is 3 inches thick, and then there's a 3-inch crossbar, and these go through the 6 inches and have an inch left to turn over and cleat over. And very strong, square-headed spikes to hold that. We have to make we have a total of 20 more to make, and we've made 13 of that 20. We had about 60 to make originally.
Wow. Stockade. Like that. So it says the pillory, usually a punishment for less than a day. Often the offender's ears were nailed to the board and torn off. Crimes included arson, cheating, wife-beating, quarreling, forgery, and lying. Often the accused would be pelted with stones, spoiled food, and rotten animal corpses, sometimes resulting in death. Oh, actual water comes out of it.
And I didn't even have to stick my hands in the bucket.
There you go. Don't stick your hands in the bucket, please. All right? Of peace followed the British capture of Charleston, but then things went south. South, get it? South Carolina. You see that?
not supposed to. We're just supposed to look at it. Okay.
But what the people that live here want?
No one lives here, Bella.
Oh,
It's to see what it looked like when people did live here.
what does that say?
It says staff only. Look at that big bed.
Yeah.
And look at the little bed for little kids.
Oh,
That's where they would sleep.
and the dog. I hope I don't have to break.
The big old poles were so you couldn't climb up.
No,
Oh, why?
because they didn't. There was a fortification. They didn't want people to come in.
What about in there?
That was the idea. They funneled people into one area. That way, if they knew you were a friend, they'd let you pass. But if you were the enemy, then they would stop you.
Well, good. What's that?
Yeah, but leads me to believe like.
Hey, there's that can. That's a can.
This is what their tent would look like. This is what they'd have. And that's pretty much what they'd sleep on. And their shaving kit and their toothbrush. And there's a British one.
It's a British one.
Colonial America, all able-bodied men from teenagers to 60-year-olds served in the militia, local force that turned out for military service in times of emergency.
Who was in? I check that.
They're making a new blacksmith building. This building will be constructed with a method called timber framing, which makes use of large dimension wood and connections called mortise and tenon. Timber frame buildings are from as far back as the 12th century, still stand throughout Europe. Buildings dating back to the 17th century still used as homes in the U.S.
Hey, I think that there is all the.
The structure was built in 1777 under the direction of Joseph Kershaw for the state of South Carolina. Storage facility for ammunition and magazine. The magazine had a vaulted roof at 48 inches brick walls and supporting buttresses and pillars.
If that stuff was how would we?
We're gonna walk on the nature trail. It's pretty. Boxes are important.
Bats take care of a lot of.
A place to bounce on lily pads. But they're not gonna make those jump. Let's come over here. Okay,
No smoking.
in the building.
Is a spinning wheel. So that's how they would take.
Don't touch any.
like actually.
That's a big wheel.
Isn't it a big wheel? This is the way they turn the potter's wheel before electricity.
Very cool, unless you're the one doing it. You
You want to try?
want to try and spin the
You
wheel?
want to come help me?
God.
Face the wheel. Come face the wheel. Okay. Let's go. Oh, you're not quite tall enough, but I'm going to get it down now. That's good. Oh, there you go.
Needs to be on my tippy tip.
That was quite a bang.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Ooh, did you get it?
I bet that's what it was.
Yeah. Just barely hit before.